Hey, hello! Welcome back to CottageKate. Today we're going to crochet this super easy cat beanie. I made this pattern adjustable so that it can be customized for any doll easily. To make this beanie, we're first going to make a square or rectangle just like this. The number of chains and rows will depend on your doll's head size and the size of your yarn. To check how many chains you need to start, first chain 20, then measure that chain against your doll's head. See if it covers the distance between the neck up until it's for head. Then you can add or subtract chains as needed. Make sure you're not stretching the foundation chain while doing this step to get a more accurate fit. For example, for this Tiangyi doll, I made a total of 30 chains. Divide this number in half, and that will be roughly the number of rows you'll need. For me, that turned out to be around 15 rows. As you can see, I made this swatch with a crochet pattern. That mimics the look of a knitted stockinette stitch. This is done with only half double crochet stitches. We're going to alternate 2 rows, where the only difference is which loop you crochet into for every row. To crochet this pattern, start with your foundation chain. Add 2 more chains to your initial count. In my case, I now have a total of 32 chain stitches. Row 1, turn, skip 2 stitches. Then from the third bump, make half double crochet stitches along the rest of the back bumps of the foundation chain. And that completes the first row. Before continuing, double check the length against your doll's head. Then adjust your chain count accordingly. Keep in mind that the length is dependent on the hook size used and how tight or loose you make your stitches. Row 2, turn your work. Let's call this an even row. Instead of crocheting into these loops on the top like you would usually do, crochet only into these bottom loops. Chain 2 and half double crochet 30 times on those bottom loops only. For the very last stitch, half double crochet into the back loop of the chain below. And that completes row 2. For row 3, in our row, turn back to the front of your work. Chain 2. Then half double crochet into the top loops only. Repeat this until the end of the row. And that completes row 3. Here you can start to see the faux, knit and purl pattern starting to emerge. From here, we just need to repeat rows 2 and 3, or the even and odd rows, until you get to your desired amount of rows. For me, that was about 15 rows, meaning I needed to repeat rows 2 and 3 6 more times. Or of course, you can also measure this against your doll's head to check the appropriate amount of rows that will fit its width. Here, let's practice crocheting another odd row, meaning all half double crochets into the top loops only. And that's yet another odd row completed. Now let's practice another even row. Again, with even rows, half double crochet only into these bottom loops. And that completes this even row. You can also do this pattern with any yarn of your choice. Here's one where I use number for medium yarn. The initial chain count was lower since this yarn is thicker. Now that we've finished the swatch, we're going to fold this over, inside out, and weave the sides to create the beanie itself. Just line up the corners. Then slip this loop through the other corner. And then start slip stitching the parallel stitches. Just continue slip stitching until you reach the end, then chain 1 to finish, but remember to leave at least 5 inches of yarn before cutting. After you've finished your slip stitches for both sides, flip your beanie back to the correct side. It should turn into this rectangle with pointy corners. For more prominent cat ears, use the extra yarn from weaving the sides to make a running stitch across the corners. Starting from the extra yarn left over from weaving the sides, decide where your line will be, and move the yarn to the other side. Flip the beanie right side out. Now weave a running stitch to create a triangle on the corner. And that completes this super easy cat beanie. Check out my channel for more 10 cm doll accessories and clothes, or even tutorials on how to crochet your own 10 cm doll just like this fully crocheted Changya, plus other doll based tutorials and even doll clothes and accessories, all in my channel or linked in the description below. For any other requests, let me know in the comments below as well. Thanks again for watching. Like this video if you learned something new, or maybe subscribe if you want to see more. See you on the next one.